Let's do it. Right, recording's progress. That's also all right. Yeah. Cool. All right. Can you guys see my screen right now?
Yep.
Right. Okay, cool. Yeah, thumbs up. All right. So like, I'm just gonna go through like what was the experience of like running my company. Also like what was the experience for me join the early stage startups too, because I do have like a 2 experience too, right? And then there is the Q&A session. So you guys can ask me any type of question. And then I'm just gonna give a heads up. It's gonna be like a very casual things that I'm gonna share like what I have learned. Also some of the things like probably the things I did when I was very young. Probably I'm not supposed to make money like at that age, for example. The thing is I did it. So I'm gonna share some of the things could be like a little bit like bigger, but thing is all right, just gonna give a heads up to everyone, right? And so today, this is the Fireside chat, the week 1. This is the being entrepreneur for the future entrepreneurs for you guys too, right? 1 second. So like, my first entrepreneur experience was basically when I was at 13, probably almost like a Thai host age, right? I bought a secondhand books and then sell it to other stores. And then how I got like books was because my brother, he used to work for these like a secondhand stores as a part-time. So I got like a book from him, and then I had the list of the stores in my hometown that's like next to Tokyo. Like literally I had like a 10 list of the stores, and then I can sell it and then higher price with a margin too, right? That's I started to do when I was 13, and then I made a car like a pocket money. That's like I use it for fun, and that's probably like my first like entrepreneur's experience. I'm not supposed to make money, so I use like my brother's ID to sell it, right? And today, I am going to share how's the experience of early employee of startup, also founder of startups too. So this was my experience of working at a startup, and then how it happened was, as I shared my probably the background where I used to work for the any role, that's like they raise money from analysts and followers. I also had like a same like a quite similar business idea marketplace for tourists and tour guide in Japan, because back then that was like 2014. So before Rugby Olympic, before Tokyo Olympics too, right? So these like hospitality industry was kind of like started booming. So I thought that was like exact right moment why I should start to do the business right now, right? And I started to kind of like build like a business model, and then I met the guy, Jonathan, when I started UC Berkeley. He was a CEO and a co-founder. And then they used to like, again, like they used to provide a marketplace. And then I just like a pitch idea, like, hey, like you guys like do this, right? I think in order to expand your business in Asian market, probably you should do this. Because like I was already researching my idea and pitched them. Then they told me, how about you gonna come to the office next Monday? And then I noticed that was like a job interview. And then basically like a Tuesday, they asked, I started to work for the Any Road. And then back then I talked to like a potential user, basically like 1,000 of tour guide in Japan. And then same time, I can test my business idea if it works or not. And then in the end, I noticed that travel industry is quite challenging. And I decided to not to work on idea anymore, because the thing is the market penetration was quite high by the huge corporate like HIS and JTB. That's like the biggest like the tourism companies in Japan. And another one is the tour guide, individual tour guides. They are not tech savvy. So even though they are saying that, oh, we wanted to get like the more customers directly, we wanted to build online channel and stuff. But thing is, they have no idea how to do it. They do not have any website. They just like literally only thing they used was like an email. That's it. They have no idea how to do like a Facebook. They have no idea Instagram and stuff too, right? So I helped them to do it, but thing is I noticed that these people probably they are saying this is a problem and they wanted to solve it, but thing is they do not have money to pay for us, and then they are not interested to improve by themselves. But that's why I decided not to do it. And then also like the hindsight, the things I got was basically like they pay me my rent, so I'm not supposed to get the money when I was a student in the US, right? So they pay me hey, I'm not supposed to get money. The thing is, I wanted to get money from you guys. And the company, they say, in that case, we're going to pay you a rent. That's awesome. And then also like at the same time, I can use their office after work. And I basically stay like around like 11 or midnight in Mission District, actually Mission 16th. And I worked on my startup idea because the thing is there is a free food. So I don't need to spend any more time for the like a coffee and free food, right? So that was also like a good experience for me too. And then this was also like my routine when I had my company Foxy. My two co-founder and I, we lived in Berkeley, kind of like between Oakland and Berkeley. It's the station is called Ashby. So our like a routine for the weekday was literally we wake up like at 6 a.m. and then we had a stand-up meeting at the 6:10 in the kitchen. Because three of us we live in the we live in the same house, right? We sleep in the same room. So leave the house before 7. Ideally, we catch a train like at 6:50 from Berkeley to head to San Francisco and work at the Starbucks like before the office open. And our office, we had like a free office space in Soma. That's like, the Wilson City, that's attorney, they provide the office space in front of a giant stadium. That's like in front of actually like a Docker, Townsend, if you know the San Francisco area. And then go to the office, like around 9 and make another coffee and then work until like 1 p.m. And we had a lunch at the Safeway because that was the cheapest option for us. And then take a power nap, work until like the office manager, they kick us out. Usually like around 9 p.m. we pretend, oh, sorry, we didn't know the office was already closed. But at some point they notice, all right, these guys always stay there. They say, you gotta leave right now. All right, so we're just gonna leave. And then head back to like in Berkeley, cook together. And I was the one usually I need to cook the dinner because my two co-founders, they are like engineers. So like I wanted to make sure they like maximize outcome. Right? So I was the one who was cooking, serve dinner for them, we eat the dinner together and work until 1 and then sleep around like 1:30. That's basically we do have like Monday to Friday. Literally we did it like 3 years on this. And then that was like so much fun actually. For the weekend, we slept a little bit longer and then go to the supermarket. That was a Trader Joe's in Berkeley. And then head and buy the breakfast and lunch and then go to the cafe and then stay until like 6:30. And then I kid you not, like I had a list of the cafe that I can stay longer and I don't need to pay any extra money to get the refill in Berkeley. So I still have like remember each like a coffee space because I do not want like spend any extra money, right? And then I did yoga and then going back home and dinner and relax and then drink with my housemate because my housemate used to work for the Udemy. That's like a marketplace for the education, right? And he was a head of Japan. And then we going out like sometimes, probably like once a month because like we did not have that much money. And then other co-founders, they took off on Sunday, but also like the same time, I can do some like admin work on Sunday too. That was very interesting experience for me. And then that's kind of like how we built very, very strong execution team. We are just like a 3 or 4, but thing is we achieved like 1 million users like a service too, right? And then one of the funny experience was one of the business ideas share with you guys, like a drop off. So like I do have a list of the place that I can pick up the nice furniture, even like we sell it in Berkeley because like a bunch of the students, they move like each semester, they throw the furniture too, right? I pick it up, I sell it, and I noticed that I can basically build the office by myself. So I asked like my friends, we studied together like a Berkeley, and I asked like Michael, hey Michael, like, can you help me to move it? So these like center picture, that's all stuff I moved, and then in the end we converted to the normal house to the office. That's the office space. So that's kind of like a funny story too. And by doing that, what I have learned, right? Some of the things it could be like useful for you guys, and I'm just gonna share experience too. I'm not saying I am the right one. I'm just sharing my experience. Some of the things could be useful for you guys too, right? So lesson learned for me is like being an entrepreneur is always kind of like important to improve yourself. It's kind of like a self-learning. And then for a startup founder is you need to be very decisive for the vision. But thing is you need to be also very flexible for the solution too. Because solution could be always creative. But thing is yesterday when we talked to Sam Davis, we asked you guys, right, what's the vision you guys want to achieve, right? The vision need to be like a very solid, right? That's you need to do it always continuously. The thing is also like a solution part, you need to be very flexible too, because that's like, usually the one you need to be creative. You need to find out what's the real problem your user and the customer they do have it too, right? Then you can comes up, right? So when I like, talk to like a founders, I usually suggest you don't need to be like a stick together like a current solution, because it may need to be changed, and then quite often it's going to be changed too, right? The thing is, you need to think about with your business, what's the ideal world and society and what you want to like envision too, right? That's probably very important to be like a founder, because like being a founder, it's going to be very, very long journey. It's not going to be a month or 2 months, right? I mean, this is a good time for you guys to practice like within 3 months. So you guys like should use us as much as possible, honestly speaking, right? Because we are here for you guys too, right? I think at the same time, I just wanted to emphasize that decisive for the vision and then flexible for the solution too, right? And then second one is I noticed this is like my like a current co-founder starting. We are building Shogun Capital since last year. The thing is I noticed that like many like companies, especially in Bay Area right now, if you work for the big corporate, it is very important to have like a quite right balance, right? Like how much you're gonna work, how much like you have like a life too, right? The thing is, being founder, I noticed like a best way is to try not to make a balance for your life. But the thing is actually better to find something you really enjoy doing, because it's gonna be like seriously so much work you're gonna do it, and it's so much like up down. So if you don't enjoy doing that, it's probably like a red signal. That's probably like you should rethink about again if you want to be like a founder or not, right? And then I remember that from the student last Monday. I think Ali, she's not here today, but things she asked us, hey, when's the right time to do it too, right? Anytime is the right time. The thing is, if you don't doing that, probably I would suggest not to do it, right? And then think or stream, that was probably like my the kind of proper like business idea. That was an event organizing business. When I was probably like on the left picture, when I was 22, so I look much younger, like a less hairier. And the right side is like a slash Tokyo. That's I started to work for the VC. And I have no idea how to do like event organizing business. I just organized a bunch of like a drinking party. It's kind of like also Elon Musk and Mark Cuban, they did it too, right, at the university. It was kind of a similar idea, but thing is, I really enjoy connecting people, right? And entertaining people too. That's kind of like I scale it up. That was 150, like a big, like a Christmas party in Tokyo. Another one is like, Slash in Tokyo was I have no idea how to be a VC, honestly speaking. Now I kind of like a started on the side, like doing like 3 years. But thing is, I always like my best way for me and the fastest way for me is I know I am lazy. Therefore, I just like throw myself in the situation. I need to think or I need to swim. If I continue like swimming, right? Probably like I can like find out like a next destination. If I notice that, oh man, like I just gonna give up. But thing is, actually that's the time you can learn new things too, right? Usually, back to like Ali's question, like I prefer to make like a plan more. The thing is, yes, you can like spend more time to make a plan. But thing is, once you start to execute it, actually you notice that some of the things even you haven't thought about it too, right? So even like the making plan, that's your main business, like a consultant, that's you're selling, that's good. But thing is, like being an entrepreneur is always like coming from execution. So that's kind of like I put myself like a single same like a situation always. So you guys don't have to do it, but thing is, this is like the best way for me to do it. That's kind of like also like for me, kind of like I started to do like a VC too. Infinity Lana was also another very important things. On the left side was the first time I went to like a Sao Paulo for the work too. I have no idea again. I don't know, like maybe I should have like idea actually like always. But thing is, I didn't have any idea. Moved to like Sao Paulo. I helped the Japanese Brazilian company to open the retail store, right? I didn't speak like Portuguese, and back then I didn't speak English either. But thing is, kind of like trying to find out. I stay a month, and I prepare in Japan like 6 months to do it. But thing is, also at the same time, kind of like the right picture was like Ghana. I helped like my friends to set up the like the car export business, like a kind of like a second hand like a car selling from Japan to Ghana. Not only for like a car, also like a car parts too, right? So we went to like a Ghana together and then set up his business too. But thing is, I have no idea for the cultural background. But thing is, in the end, for business itself is always kind of like a principle too, right? So as long as if you have like open-minded, you can learn the solution too. But thing is always like business has some kind of like equation too. That's like at some point you start to like learn it, and then that's like the more you have done it, the more like you're gonna have like a better like a confidence, better idea. And then that's always very important to be like an infinity learner too. And then I really think like myself, I love to learn more from anyone, and I'm learning actually like from you guys too. So I appreciate people ask any question because I try to be helpful to you guys anytime, and we try to prepare as much as possible too, right? But thing is, sometimes we didn't think about it. So when people ask, that could be good, and then other people also like may have like the same question too, right? But that's good. And the growth mindset, that was the picture on the left was like when we started to work for the deep core, and that was my previous firm. The thing is, probably for the deep core side, we started to run the accelerator program in Tokyo. But thing is, at the beginning was like, it's like basically no logistic. We didn't have any idea where we're gonna run, when we're gonna start to run the office space. And then we always ask like a deep core on the corner, hey, we want to do this. And they say like, it's a bit too, let's say, you guys need to make like a better plan, because that's they always ask us. Like, I mean, we try to be like flexible for you guys too, but thing is the kind of like, you need to give us like kind of like a more like a heads up idea too, right? The thing you guys wanted to do it. But thing is like at the same time, a little bit similar to like infinity learner. But thing is the more you have line, like other people, they're gonna help you guys. So like Nick-san has been very helpful for me to teach like how to be a good investor, how to set up like a fund structure, like legal stuff too, right? So if you can have like a growth mindset, the network and people, they just gonna help you guys as much as possible. So that's why asking question is actually a very important skill too. And then the right side was when we organized the biggest like a conference, we had over 600 people. And again, I have no idea how to do it, but thing is we have to do it. So that's why like we did it in there. That was good. And then this company, Anytech, 6 months after we invested, it just got acquired for the public company in Japan. So we had only like an investor for like this company. That was like a great experience for us too. And then self-learning, slightly different, but thing is I noticed that being founder is very, very like stressful. I kid you not, it's seriously. I cried so many times because even though I had a co-founders, the thing is I was the one putting my own like a 50K USD. So I was kind of like an investor too. So like hire them. The thing is I put them like a co-founder, give like a bunch of share too, right? The thing is that sometimes it is very difficult to share like all the problem too, right? So I kind of like, I mean, I had probably like, the emotional depression too, but thing is for me, like exercising is the best way to kind of like recover mentally. So I do exercise every day right now, run, walk, yoga twice a week, and run twice a week, work out like weight training twice a week, and then once a week like a surfing, once a week, and then futsal too. The thing is for me, because that's like the best way to get like not physically, more like emotionally get recovered too, right? So for like these like 3 months, it's gonna be very intensive. The thing is, even like starting for you guys could be very intensive schedule too, right? But thing is everyone has like a different style for the kind of like self recover. But thing is I would like really emphasize as you guys are very motivated, you guys should have like a own way to get kind of like a recharge. Either if you like food, that's good. If you like to go like a shopping, that's good. If you like just walk, that's good. Anything's good. But thing is, something you can get recover in the long term. So I would not emphasize like drinking or smoking too. I used to like smoke, for example, like you guys say. But thing is, that was like a worse, like because I smoke. For example, I had like a bunch of like a Red Bull and then go like for drinking, right? Because I feel like a short term, I feel better. The thing is actually like a day after, I feel exhausted. It's like a pointless. Then I become like a sick, right? And I'm gonna waste my time. So that's why I noticed that this is not like a very like a sustainable solution. I need to change it. So that's why I quit. I like drink probably like less right now, but instead I spend like more time on the exercise instead. So that's why when I saw the Namaste.ai on this program, I actually like excited because I do yoga for the past like 10 years, trying to get the license some point too. And then another one is eat healthy if you can. Health is the compound too. Probably at this moment, you guys, probably you don't feel any kind of exhausting and stuff too. But thing is the things you eat, it become your body. I really emphasize trying to make it healthy if you can, not emphasizing. I'm not like forcing you guys to do it. But thing is actually better to do it. And I noticed that this like left picture on the safe way, this like this was probably like a clam chowder. This was very cheap, but thing is that has like so much calorie, and then we got like so many like we gained like so much weight like back then. The thing is if you can do it, probably better to be like healthy for your life too. This was the another one is when I was like a retail store manager, like a 7-Eleven. I'm not sure you guys know 7-Eleven. Probably there is like a few 7-Eleven in the US right now. Basically a convenience store. It's a corner store too, right? And then we become like one of the best store in Japan. But thing is that was like a crazy experience because you're just gonna sell like a cake in front of the store, right? It's kind of like it's kind of if you haven't done it, it's a little bit. I wouldn't describe like a painful, but thing is a little bit kind of like shame because people ask like why this guy is like selling here, right? But thing is that was for me it's like a great experience because I can start to get used to be ashamed the things you don't feel comfortable, right? Because for pitching business idea, even hiring, even like a sales pitch, right? Anything probably some point you feel uncomfortable because somebody like people just gonna ask you like why this business and why we gonna like invest you, even like probably like a job interview is same too, right? Why we need to hire you, right? In that case, you need to give a reason too, right? You need to sell some kind of benefit or things that you can bring too, right? So for me, I haven't done like a professional sales activities, but thing is these like the selling to like end customers in front of like stores, that's kind of like gives me like a very strong like a sales background. So like after that, even like when I moved to other countries, even like I don't speak like good English. I thought like it's kind of doesn't matter because that's like who I am. Like I just need to like maximize the things I can do, right? So it gives me like a very good kind of the legwork experience, and then that become like a very good experience. And then after like I do have like a started to build a growth hacking like a skill. These like sales activities, it doesn't grow in them, but thing is this could be actually like very helpful to bring more deals for the company and product too. And then this one is always like trying to improve it. The thing is for like founders, you need to be like a good storyteller, right? Either again, when you hire people, probably people don't work for like money, right? Especially at the beginning, because you cannot pay that much, right? And then probably you need to expect them to work a lot, right? It's not like working for probably Google, right? So means you need to like tell them why you need to join like this company, why working with us, why working for this product is a great experience for you. Maybe you don't make money like in the short term, but thing is this experience could be very helpful for you to build like a professional career. And then maybe like you can make money in the future too, right? So that's like one thing for the HL. A few stories like my two co-founders and then one like a plus engineers, because like 4 of us, and then 3 software engineer and me, and then everyone got like a pretty good jobs after they left like our company. One guy works for like a Rakuten as a data scientist. Another one is he works for the AI company Parksure. That's like they went to like a public last year, and then he's like a product manager there. Another guy is the data scientist for the also like a public company too. Even like he doesn't have like a software background. He was a DJ before, the music composer. And then but thing is he built software like the background skill within like just like 2 years. Once started to work with us, right? So always again, being a good storyteller is very important. Another one is the sales is also same too, right? Maybe like a Jack, you did the same sales too, right? When you try to sell, like a Sun Davis to your customers. But thing is when you do like a sales activities, also like basically you are like doing like a storytelling too, right? You need to buy our product because this is like a benefit for you too, right? So even like no matter like any type of activities could be good. Another one, like after this program, if you guys gonna start your own companies, like if you want to get investment, again, getting investment is the being like a good storyteller too, right? Because you're basically selling your company, even though company and product is still small. The thing is you're basically convincing your investors this is gonna be the future. The things we wanted to do is gonna be this. You need to invest in us because I mean, ideally they're gonna make money, but thing is you need to be part of our journey too, right? So always being a good storyteller is probably very, very important skill, especially for the CEO. I'm not necessarily like as emphasized for the CTO. CTO has probably a different type of like important skill, but for the CEO, you really need to have it. In the end, that's gonna be entire your job too. Probably example could be like Bran Chesky from Airbnb too, right? He's amazing basically. His stories are so much funny. Yeah. And I can probably see myself again. That was like a first time like I did give a speech at the university. That was an event, and then also started to move like a conference too. But in the end, doesn't matter size because as long as you're a good storyteller, I mean, yeah, you can like do something too, right? And yeah, this one was like the fail fast. Actually, that was like a failing experience for me. When I came back to like in Tokyo 2018. I wanted to build AngelList in Asia or Glassdoor for the investors in Asia too, right? And then started to do like the event and try to build a kind of like a startup community in Tokyo. The community means like startup founders, also like a connection with VCs too, right? And then it become like a 500 very international community in Tokyo. But thing is that after I worked on like probably 4 months, I noticed that basically AngelList they don't make money that much, right? It's not like a profitable company. Even like Glassdoor is not like a profitable company either, right? And then so like my business model was completely like wrong, basically. The thing is I was just trying so hard to do it, right? And then usually for the VCs, the business, and then that's kind of like I started to notice like how VC makes money, right? VC doesn't make money like basically advising like people. VC makes money by investing, and then these like equity is always upsell too, right? Otherwise, you are the one who are providing service. But thing is, it doesn't scare it too, right? So I'm trying to build kind of like a software for like a startup side too. But thing is, I noticed that was like a wrong approach. And then, but thing is also like this network actually brings me to become a VC too, because I started to have a deal flow in Asia. And then one of the investors approached me like, hey, we want to expand our accelerator program to Tokyo. Can you join and help us to do it too, right? And I didn't think about like becoming like a VC, but thing is, I thought like I do not have any like a business idea that I wanted to do. Maybe like I could just help them to do it too, right? So maybe like as long as if you try, sometimes you face that's like oh shit, like I fail. The thing is if you learn something or you build something, some kind of asset or experience, actually usually you can use it for your future or some kind of like things in the future. So I would encourage not necessarily to fail it as long as if you learn it too, right? I'm not saying like a failing is important, but thing is more like failing is important, but more importantly, you need to learn something from them too, right? This is the money part. I'm not sure like if you guys are financially like I have no idea how you guys are financial situation, but thing is keep your life in the company financially lean and decrease any fixed costs as less as possible. As you can see, like a bunch of the companies, when they raise money, they start to like rent house or like office space. They started to have like a nice furniture and stuff too, right? And then they can see so much like a party, like the stuff too, right? I mean, it is good. The thing is I wouldn't do it based on my like a over 10 years experience. I would do it for the employee engagement. The thing is, I probably went out for like drinking because the team is not my friends, right? We are like a professional team to achieve the specific mission, right? So I would not increase the fixed cost as much as possible, because, for example, the way I talk to the companies right now, the company they are like doing well right now after the pandemics, and the company they are not doing well after the pandemics is usually the company who didn't have like that much like fixed costs before pandemics, right? They still have the like longer runway, and then they are like financially lean. However, the company, even like I think 2 days ago, I talked to like one of the Indian company. They failed quite badly, because the thing is they got like a 500K investment, and then they spent 300K for the office, like buying the office space, even not rent, like a buying space, completely innovated, and then pandemics hit. They haven't used it like a past like almost like 2 years, and they went back to like investors. Hey, we do not have more cash. Can you invest us again? And then investors say like, how come you spend like more than money for even like a buying house, right? And then you are supposed to talk to us. The thing is, I didn't understand like why you guys did it. And then they ask us, hey, can you help us to raise money? Can you invest in us? But thing is, honestly speaking, probably that company is already like quite difficult to help them, because financially, or like also like equity, like a balance sheet too, right? They like to raise money. They invest, existing investor, they don't want to support, right? And also like we wanted to understand like why founder, he or she or they made that decision too, right? Because I wouldn't do it, and I don't understand why they do it too, right? And they usually coming from like the social, like the like approvable. That's like hey, like I am startup founder. It is successful, and how you can see my success is because we do have a fancy office. It's kind of like funny to say, but things actually quite often people do it. So like trying to be like lean as much as possible if you can. Not necessarily to be like super like I'm not saying like you need to be pro, but thing is like trying to be lean. Okay. And then this is the funny one, like save your money to start your startup. So my style is always I spend my money before getting investment. So this one probably I'm not supposed to say, but thing is I was a part-time bartender in Berkeley for the Japanese restaurant, and then made around like probably 2 or 3K every month, and then just like kept it for the our like a first investment. And then I was just like bringing like a bunch of my friends, and we had like a drink. And at the same time, the reason why I did it was the one can make money. Another one, I can get food from restaurant. And third one is the actually that time like we are building the restaurant apps, right? So when people comes, like they usually want to talk to like bartenders, right? And I ask them like, hey, what do you do for like living? I said like I build an app. This is a restaurant solution. Like, can you try to do it? So that was the time also I got the feedback from the potential user and the customers too. So I always like trying to leverage as much as possible, especially at the beginning of the like startups. But thing is my style, I prefer to put my own money because I prefer to be like a skin on the game. Thing is everybody has a different preference, but thing is I always suggest anything you're gonna start, even like a move to like other countries, you're gonna like try to do something different things. You probably better to have some kind of like a financial probably like runway, at least like 18 months or something too, right? Because if you need to worry about like money, like maybe next month, actually even you start to do something tomorrow, you really cannot focusing on doing that too, right? In that case, actually your intention is going to be like a spread. That's kind of like just think about like just like an equation, right? You don't put like enough money, you don't put enough focus, of course, therefore the outcome is kind of poor too, right? So that's why having like extra money for your startup or when you're gonna start like something new, it's always like helpful. And network, my case probably like strong. One of the strongest skill is probably like my networking skills. That's also like a build like doing like sales activity and stuff. But thing is like being like a social machines, right? And good at communication or trying to be like a good at communication, and people for the mentor and advisors too. Because even though how I think is first of all I don't describe like I am like smart, and I'm not like a smartest person in my like world or society or whatever. So even like for me like a smartest person could be like probably like Elon Musk level, right? I mean, he's like, the like a badass, right? He's the one like I can define. He's the probably smartest person, right? And plus, he already has like enough track record. He do have like the things he can leverage right now, right? So it means like if you are not like at that level like a smart person, probably the rest of people we can say like ordinary people, right? What you can do is yes, you can hustle, but even though you're smart, you hustle, probably your knowledge and experience could be the limited too, right? In that case, how you can do it? In that case, basically, you should use other people's like network too, right? And that's kind of like I always try to do it. So you do not have a probably like always right answer. In that case, probably it's better to like ask people to start to build your mentor network and advisor network too. And that's been very, very helpful in my life. I mean, that's kind of like I still like survive and still like eating some kind of like food in my like daily basis. But thing is, for me, could be like a good chance. Probably like you guys already have built like that type of like custom as like a work for like the study at the Minerva School. But thing is, this is also like a good time that you can use me, Yamamoto-san, Deepcore, any of the network that you haven't come across in your life yet, right? And this is the time you can start to build different type of a network. And then as long as like if they try to help you, maybe like you can get advice from them too, right? Also, same time, the things I emphasize like a Monday, you need to think about who is the right person, and then you need to ask the right question to right person too. Even like if you ask me the investment, probably that could be good. But thing is, if you ask me the investment for the Series A or Series B company, I'm not the right person because I haven't done the investment for the Series A or Series B company, and I haven't run the company like a Series A or Series B, right? So even like I do have like a finance background. The thing is, my background is purely focusing on like the precedent series or the later series too. Right? Probably Series A could be fine too. But thing is, if you ask me, hey, I'm gonna run the like IPO company, what should I do? I say like I have no idea. Probably you should Google it, right? Probably like Google is better. So you need to think about again. This is the right time for you guys to build different type of network. But thing is, when you ask people, you need to always think about asking the right question to like the right people too. It's not the right people, actually, right question and the right people. That's very important too, right? But that's kind of like probably like a double down the kind of like interest level, So it's going to be done soon. And then the team one, we do have the remote work session too in 2 weeks. But thing is, my case, I always try to be a good leader as much as possible. Also, like hardest worker in the team. But thing is also like the thing that I made a mistake was don't push too much for your team and the co-founders, because in the end, my co-founders and teammate they usually burn out because I am basically online. Either like I sleep, I work. Kind of like, that's kind of like my lifestyle, except for like exercising. But thing is when especially at the beginning of like startups, the hard working is like a best solution. Kind of like the gear up the engine too, right? Even like probably if you think about if you use like this analogy, like you have like a car, right? And maybe you are the engine, and then how many like cc you have it? Probably you do have a not that high quality of like engine level. And then in order to increase like the power of the engine, actually it coming from the hard working like activity too, or like a behavior too, right? So but things again, the thing I made a mistake was I pushed people, you need to do like this level too. And then that was like a mistake. So probably better to important to kind of like set rule, right? So let's work like 9 to like this, right? For example, or like 10 hours, for example, 8 hours, right? And then if somebody want to work, like it's good, like go ahead, right? The thing is you cannot force people to work, hey, I work like 14 hours. Why you just like work like 13 hours? Right? You shouldn't do it. And I kind of did it for my co-founders because we live in the same house. Even like I try not to say anything, but thing is they start to feel like a pressure. So sometimes they didn't enjoy. They feel like a little bit like stressed. Even like when we travel to like other country, that was like the team trip in LA, and another one was also like a trip in Hong Kong. We always like as we like a remote team, some point we don't need to have like office space, so like we spend money for traveling together. That's kind of like on-site activity, right, for a month. In that case, we try to work as much as possible. Also, same time, as it is a very like a small team, it is very important that you can enjoy with your teams and co-founders too, right? So probably it's a good time. It could be actually quite, honestly, it is quite challenging to build a product as a remote team. I don't think it is easier. It's easier to work at the same office, and then you can ask like, hey Jack, I do have a question. Do you have a moment? No, I'm busy. Can we talk hour, right? That's very like a simple things. But thing is, for the Slack, how it can be like a more human interactive, right? It is not quite easy, right? So that's why so many like a company, they are building like remote work tools, and then we don't know that any like master, we don't have like a master solution yet. The thing is, even like you guys could be the one who can build a solution too, right? Because no one has the answer yet, honestly speaking, right? So that's kind of like, I just gonna share with you guys too. That's kind of like the essence of being founders. So if you guys have any question you can ask me anytime today. Let's take 3 questions. You can ask any like a stupid question, seriously. All right, let's do Arnold.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you, when you felt low or demotivated by either, failures or, what did you do to motivate yourself on, consistent basis?
Yeah, it's that's a good question. But thing is probably it's a good question actually. Like, probably this time. When was it? Oh yeah, I didn't have a slide actually. Sorry. I noticed that probably like I answered a similar question too, right? Somebody asked like the same question. What's your motivation too, right? Why you are working like this, right? And I noticed that probably it's funny. Like when I was at 23, I made the most money, like probably the largest like a salary or like money in my life, right? Probably over the 2023 that I got probably like let's say like 150K USD, right? And that was a good money for me, right? And plus I did have a business, I did have a car. I had a, for example, Audi, right? That was good. The thing is, I noticed that, damn, I am not happy and I feel like miserable. And then same time, that was like, I'm doing like, my first business. And then even always like my first business, like event business was not like making money. I really wanted to connect people because I enjoy the people like, having a good time, right? And for like a more like a social time. And then I started to ask myself, how can I scale more? And then even like I did have like a nice car, nice like living in a nice place, like good like money, like a good salary, and then like wearing nice clothes and stuff. Nothing makes me happy, and I thought like this is like a stupid, seriously. And then probably that was like a second time in my life I got completely like depressed. Also like depressed like myself, right? Disappointed in myself, like what the fuck I'm doing, right? And then and that's kind of like and then I seriously asking like every day for like an entire year what I really want to do. And then I really like thought about, I really love to build a business, but thing is I really wanted to build the super like a scalable business because I know the running business is my joy, and then I really believe the power of the business. I believe that, but thing is I'm not smart enough because I do not have an answer. I cannot execute it, right? And then so that's why I think back to your question, I just like to be like useful in this society. Seriously, that's like that's it. And then for me, like as long as I can live normal life, I mean, I'm fine. For me, it's the object like some kind of like a position doesn't makes me like happy. So yeah, even like having a good friends is good enough, right? So yeah, I hope that's answer your question. And then, but thing is, this is my answer. Everybody has a completely different like value of your life. Maybe like somebody prefer to work for like a bigger company. That's great too, seriously, right? But thing is, I think it's very important that probably like a good thing is so after high school, I tried to become a doctor. I studied 3 years, I couldn't do it. And I thought I was completely like a failure in my life because usually after high school, people started to enter university, which I didn't. And everybody started to like do something, their life, right? They started to go out, they started to travel and stuff, right? I didn't do any of the stuff like 3 years. And then I thought like I am like, basically like, I failed in my life and I have no idea because in Japan is there's not like any like I mean Nemosa is the only person. My type is like also Japanese too. But thing is some of like Asian cultures, right? Probably Korea could be similar too. You are supposed to like continue the things that society expect. If you are outlier, almost like impossible. I didn't say impossible, but I think it's very, very difficult to like catch up to like a normal professional career or life. And then in my case, I didn't have it already. I saw, all right, I mean, I cannot do the way people have done, and I cannot like get up like move back like past 3 years, right? So I thought, all right, I need to be like already like unique in my life. So that's kind of like already give up like a traditional career type of stuff. But the thing is like when I was young, I always wanted to be like an entrepreneur. So like for me, it's kind of like it doesn't matter, right? So the thing is like these things gives me like a kind of like extra energy, you know. It's what is it called? It's like underdog type of stuff, right? Yeah. Anyway, all right. Let's take two more questions. Let's take Anna next one, and then let's take Asma's question next. Okay.
Hi. So I have a question. You mentioned about like you were talking about one of your previous experiences, and you shared like, oh, that team, at least they were like not a team of my friends. Those were just like professional coworkers working towards a certain goal. And here, like we, to a certain extent, at least our team is like a team of friends working on something. So I guess I'm wondering, what are your thoughts on like how it is to work with friends? What are some downsides? How to deal with them?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So my friends, this was one of the co-founder. His name was Yo-Yo. He was DJ before. He didn't have like experience, and he came to like San Francisco from Canada, right? Because we tried the business actually when he was 22, like 23. And he continued to like to play DJ, so he became like a DJ. The thing is that he wanted to try again. So like I really appreciate that he came to Japan. He came to like US, right? And then we did like the second like startup together for the three and a half, right? Like almost like 4 years, like in this case. But thing is in the end, in my case, I don't think because of him, but thing is it's like what's happened to us was our company like grow really fast, right? We didn't like raise that much money. That was like probably I should have done better. But thing is our company really grow fast, right? 20 to like 30% like month over month, like basically like 2 years. And then everyone needed to learn some of the new things every day. And then seriously, he's my best friend. He's like still my best friends in my life, right? We have known like since 12, and then we still like hang out, not for work, right? The thing is, he become kind of like a bottleneck for the company, and then other like co-founder and then like other software, the data scientist, he said like why we are paying salary for him? He's very slow, and then we don't know like what he does, right? I mean, no offense, but thing is, you need to think about how you can improve him, right? I talked to him, and then probably like I should make a decision at some point. Either like I should prioritize him, or I should prioritize more kind of what is called more missionally or like mercenary, right? If you're gonna fight, no matter what you're gonna do, just kill enemy. That's like a mercenary. But missionally could be sometimes you need to forgive your enemy, for example, right? The thing is in long term, I'm not sure which one is better. The thing is I was very like a mission guy. But thing is I noticed that other two co-founders like a slightly more like they are not like a missionally like driven. So probably I made like a wrong hire, but thing is also I didn't set the kind of like right tone of culture for the team. And then I thought about because we are friends and family, we need to be friendly. But thing is because as I said that people don't say like even like we really we are very like a good team. But thing is especially for like early stage of the companies, I really think it is very important that everybody can talk honestly each other too. If somebody's doing something wrong, you say like probably better to say, hey man, like maybe I wouldn't do it this way. Like how are we gonna improve, right? The thing is that we had a probably like didn't set like that type of culture because I wanted to build kind of very like family like a friends things. So I thought like, oh, being like a friend is very important too. Right? But thing is, I noticed that actually, if I were me right now back then, probably I just gonna emphasize this is a professional team, right? Not necessarily to be like a friendly, but things we are like a professional team. We need to basically perform, right? That's like my personal preference right now. The thing is that being a friend was always helpful. But thing is usually what's happened to not only like our team, what's ended up happening to like the growth like a startup is usually company or like product growth, right? Some of co-founder, he or she or they couldn't catch up the speed. And then somebody has to make a decision. If we want to stay with his level of the like growth speed, but thing is also like a product and customer, they are demanding more, right? If you don't do it, your company is going to be fail. Or like you don't probably build actually like the growth company too, right? So that's kind of like I feel maybe I would build like a professional team, for example. But it's like very important too, right? If you're like a team, like probably you prefer to know your friends and family, even your kids and parents stuff too, right? Because that's like an extra second or third, like the social graph too, right? Of course, that's gonna be more like tied up, right? The thing is again, I wouldn't build like a very like a friendly team. I did it very intentionally. We are still good friends. The thing is I probably should have done better this year. And I didn't tell my team, this is the one we want to do it. Yeah. Yeah. I hope that that's answer your question. But thing is, just like, that's my preference. I think every team and every like, the founder, every like, the co-founders, every team, every product, culture, like, no matter what you guys are gonna do, if it's gonna work, that'll work too, right? It doesn't just like it didn't work for me or it didn't work for my team, right? So, all right, let's take a question.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing your story. I appreciate it. It was very inspiring. My question is, how do you stay action-oriented when you face challenges or when you don't know exactly how to like meet your specific goals? Because I think we broke down our roadmap pretty specifically for the upcoming 3 months. But I'm sure that we're going to anticipate just things not going well. What are some general strategies to just keep moving and keep working towards those goals?
Right. Like, you asking like based on my experience or based on this program?
Yeah, both, I guess. Like how realistically, like what are some advice or tools that we have available, you think, in these upcoming 3 months that will kind of help us keep moving forward, and maybe also speaking from your own experience?
Right. I mean, first of all, as you guys like attending this program, you guys should use us as much as possible, right? So I would suggest like don't feel like embarrassed asking or don't feel like shame. Basically, I would suggest you guys should use us like as much as possible. Seriously, even like it could be being like a little bit like aggressive too, but that's fine too because we like it, right? Because the more you have done, we're gonna see like a better outcome, and that's like we enjoy seeing too, right? So that's like a number one thing. Another one is the honestly speaking, like for me, like if I just like go back, like the student, the word being a student is seriously like a best like life, because everyone say, oh, I am student, I am doing this. Usually, quite often, people are helpful for you guys, right? So that's like you guys. It's kind of like the time is compound too, right? And then you're like as long as you're like I mean not the age wise, but thing is like having like a student like a status is very good for like to like get the advice from like other people because people are willingly to help you guys. And I noticed that because now if I say I don't know how to do it, and then people say probably like, I don't care, like you're like man, right? it's not boy, so you need to be a man, right? So I mean, that's like actually it's happened too, right? So I cannot be like randomly asking a question too. I probably need to do like a decent stuff like by myself too, right? Because if I am just like asking, it's kind of like the dark too. I just open like people, hey, I need help. Probably nobody's care because I am not like a student anymore, right? But thing is, being a student is the best time. That's if you ask like a stupid question or some of the things, it doesn't make sense. People love to help you guys because that's kind of the kind of human nature too, right? It's a social animal we are, right? So so that's why again, like I hope like this answers your question. But thing is, don't feel like embarrassed. Seriously, like asking them as much as possible. And then if you like ask like a better question, people give you like a better like advice too, right? So but thing is, if you don't ask like anything, or like if you just like thinking, oh, actually I wanted to get help like from like Jin a month ago. The thing is, if I didn't notice, I mean, no way that's I can help you too, right? So you guys can say like, oh, I'm working on this and this, right? The stuff too, right? And another one is we try to, so for the especially for talking about this program, we structure to give enough support to you guys, like tools, other things like mentor stuff too, right? Also like the human capital does like a fireside chat too, right? Also knowledge is like office hour too, right? The thing is as this is like a third year, it is like much better than probably like past 2 years, right? Because like each year we are like making progress. But thing is, some of the things maybe this is not enough. In that case, you can say, hey, we want to have this type of stuff, or actually you can say we don't need like this type of stuff too, right? So in that case, we try to make a flexible to you guys too, right? And then probably like for the when you especially like probably giving you my like advice right now is I noticed that I used to think about when I think about any types of the outcome, right? When you do something, right? Probably you do have like a probably two dimension like a metrics, right? What if A, B, and then A after B, like A, B and stuff too, right? If he's gonna yes, if he's gonna go. And then what's the if he's yes, and if he's gonna yes, if he's gonna like no and stuff too, right? So like I do have like a probably probably 2-dimension level of the metrics for the like kind of like a risk analysis. But thing is, I started to notice that I do have a kind of like a better one slightly more, and because like I can start to have like a more experience right now, so I can think about actually like this I didn't think about it, and then it could be actually like outcome too. So let's have like a slightly like better the variety of the options and outcome, and then I can prepare slightly better. But that's coming from my experience, I noticed. And so that's why probably, and then, so that's like when you face a problem, it's usually like you prepare, but thing is, if you don't prepare, if you like, when I face a problem right now, I know like I didn't intentionally prepare this. In that case, I'm just gonna think about it because that's probably like worst of the worst situation, for example, right? So that's like probably already like exceptional like things, and then that's like when I face a problem right now. The thing is when you guys like do it, probably like just like face it, and then just like open up to like people, like try to think about if you can solve or not. If you don't do it, probably like ask us, like that's why we are here too, right? Yeah. Also, you do have like the teammate too. The thing is, like honestly speaking, like these kind of like risk analysis is the improving yourself, and then like getting like more experience. I noticed that I do have a better like a kind of like a risk analysis right now, and then I do have a probably like a quite strong like, risk tolerance because like being an entrepreneur a while. The thing is, this one could be like a kind of like better to be we kind of like get used to like handle the like these like the problem situation, you know. Cool. If you anyone has any question, if not, like we just can wrap up. All right. Cool. Sounds good. In that case, sorry. In that case, like we can, yeah.